And that's when Thomas Edison was accused of including backwards messages on his wax cylinders. In fact, for his third single, Mary Had a Little Pony Soldier, he would deliberately include a humorous anecdote about eating the yellow snow.
I've got to learn to stop asking what's new with you, Joe.
Hey losers, what's new?
Well, Donnie, as a matter of fact, I was just telling Barack.
Joe, you tell that story one more time and I'll make sure Kamala never buys you ice cream again.
Don't you dare threaten my chocolate chip.
I'd be careful, Barack. Joe may be as useless as a concrete parachute, but he's got the most vicious pack of dogs this side of the Rockies.
Seriously, Joe, why the hell do your dogs keep biting everyone?
Well, if they don't get a good sniff of hair every 6 hours, they're liable to snap. What can I say? They take after their daddy.
Joe, I feel no remorse telling you I can't wait for the day Obama and I will be passing your urn around. Unfortunately, that's not why we're here today. We're here because of our mutual love of Warhammer 40k.
We've been talking a lot of Star Wars lately on the other channel, which our viewers should absolutely check out, but not many people know how we all met. Even before we were presidents, we were avid hobbyists painting miniatures.
That was the great part about being a senator all those decades. As long as I slapped my name on the odd bill here and there, I could dedicate time to my true passion, wargaming what was called Rogue Trader at the time.
I'm speechless. You actually remembered something real, Joe. It wouldn't drop the Rogue Trader tagline until the second edition, and that's when things really got interesting. The proper focus on grimdark and a serious tone over the previous glam rock look is what really brought me on board.
Same here, shifting the art style towards a more coherent Gothic approach really gave it a unique feel. And once Black Library started releasing novels in the late 90s, I was hooked. You guys ever thought about reviewing those books?
Barry, I'm loving the enthusiasm, but I'll have a country to run again pretty soon. And we'll be as old as Biden before we'd even get through half of the codexes.
You're only 3 years younger than me.
Fake news.
Well, I was thinking of just going through the novels we've read, beginning with the first one the three of us read, 2001's Xenos by Dan Abnett, the first in a trilogy that follows Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn as he tracks the heretic Murden I clone to the cryonic vaults of hubris. Though he manages to slay his foe, Eisenhorn pursues Murden's activities and eventually uncovers a plot concerning powerful nobles, abominable aliens, and the ruinous powers of chaos.
This is some of Abnett's best. Although Ian Watson's trilogy came first, this book really set the groundwork for the handling of the Inquisition. This book lays out so much about the factions within the orders, and was one of the first to illustrate a tale more around espionage and secrecy than the normal front lines of a space marine or guardsman battle. Which is not to say it's shy on action. Gregor and his retinue fighting for their lives in the Glaw arena and the final assault on the Saruthi homeworld are as action-packed as anything you'd expect of the franchise.
I like the first-person perspective Eisenhorn makes for an interesting protagonist, and the cast is pretty well rounded out with the stalwart Fischig, ace pilot Bentoncourt, and faithful savant Emos. Can't forget Elizabeth Beckman either, especially considering her importance as a blank later on. Dan does a great job showing several walks of life and examining what some have called the domestic side of 40k.
That's part of what makes this one so approachable and an easy recommendation if you want to dive into the world. You might not get a great sense of Space Marines or the scope of the wider galaxy, but this more personal story is all the easier to follow for it. You really care about Gregor and his retinue, so the ominous hinting at the tragedy to follow with Cherubel at the end makes you eager for more.
I love my bolters and Marines, but Abnett's prose elevates this beyond your usual tie in fiction. Nothing to complain about for this book, except the original cover art.
Donald, you're taking a bigger L than when you lost the election. Just look for yourself. You can't tell me you prefer the streamlined, clean version to the grittiness of the original.
You bet your wrinkly old ass I can. This chunky, greasy Eisenhorn looks like a rectangular chimney sweep compared to the refined agent of the Order in the re-release. And is that Cherubel in the back looking like every cartoon devil you've ever seen? No way in the warp is that an accurate depiction. Give me Fischig-looking fly in his enforcer armor and purity seals. Back me up on this Obama.
I got to side with Joe on this one. Way more personality in the original. He looks like a proper emissary of the Emperor's wrath. That kind of imagery is disappearing as Games Workshop tries to make humanity seem more heroic.
Of course he's the hero. He fights aliens, mutants, and heretics, just like every human should, and protects the Imperium from its enemies with fire and fury. We should all try to live like that.
Not everything has to be a fight, Donald.
I fight to stay awake every time you speak, Joe. This must be how you feel all the time.
Come on, fellas, whether you like the original painting or the new edition, I think we can all agree they're in service of a fantastic book.
Well said, Barack. I'm hoping we'll see it adapted to the screen someday. All we've gotten so far is a lackluster video game.
Absolute garbage. Even Mark Strong's voice acting couldn't elevate that steaming pile. At least they didn't make it to book 2.
which is where we'll be picking up tomorrow, right?
We'll see. Jill says I need to quit sleeping so much and spend some time with my 6 grandchildren.
Don't you mean 7?
Later, Barry, say hi to Michael for me.
I'll tell him. Or I mean her. Damn it! If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.
You can find other Warhammer videos here. We review Star Wars and other properties on our featured channels too if you want to check those out.
Thanks for watching, and comment below about the thing.